Hey folks, it's Leo the Lefty. Good to see you. Today I'm not really going to be working on a case. I have one prepared, but I'm actually waiting on something else to come through for it. So once that comes, then I'll record that. So I decided to just do kind of a whatever video today. I drew this little dude. His name is Flomp. I'll color him while I'm going to talk to you guys about, just some of my favorite podcasts and books, TV, that sort of thing, just because I wanted to, put something out today. I had the afternoon off from work, so I wanted to make some kind of video. And I didn't have a side case prepared, so I thought I'd just talk to you for a little bit while I color this little fella and tell you about some of my favorite content I like to take in. And I guess we'll start with podcasts. My absolute favorite podcast is Let's Go to Court with Kristen Caruso and Brandy Pond. It's not for everybody. If you're not into tangents and banter, then it's probably not for you, but I think that those ladies are absolutely hilarious, and I look forward to every single episode they put out. I'm a patron member. Just love them, love them, love them. I discovered them maybe 2.5 years ago. They've been going since 2018, but let me tell y'all, I was late to the podcast game. I didn't know what a podcast even was for a very long time until, right around 2.5 years ago, I discovered them, and I've always had a love for true crime. And so, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. I've always had a love for true crime, so, I grew up on American Justice and Unsolved Mysteries and 2020 and Dateline and all that, so, I've really fallen in love with quite a few podcasts. I guess my next favorite would be True Crime Creepers, with Kristen Williams and Samantha Mogab, and they are also very funny, and I just adore them. They're hilarious as well, and, the cases they cover are, in-depth, well-researched and everything, and, that's the same thing with Let's Go to Court. Brandy does more of the, murders and things like that, and Kristen does, like, interesting, crazy lawsuits and, things like that. It's interesting because you get a little bit of both worlds, and they're just hilarious. And so is True Crime Creepers. They'll do murders and con artists and things like that, so they kind of cover all those grounds as well. Another one of my favorites is Small Town Murder. Those guys are pretty great too. I really like the way they tell the cases and everything. When I go for a podcast, I look for something that has, oh God, if I can get, like an hour and a half to 2 hour long episode, I am thrilled. It's really hard for me to enjoy the ones that are like 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, or whatever. So I really, once I got into podcasts, I started looking at ones that, had quite a bit of time to them. So I work at an animal shelter, and unless I've got somebody there looking to adopt, I'm pretty much able to listen to whatever I want all day long. And so, yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts and books. I've been on Audible close to 10 years now, so I listen to a lot of books and podcasts and things like that. It helps my day go by faster, and I just really enjoy it. So thankfully Audible has all kinds of cool podcasts, so I've discovered them. I kind of was looking for a book, couldn't really find one that suited me at the time because I have moods where there's certain things I want to listen to and all that. Okay, well, I had a pug interruption. I'm not even sure what I was saying before we were so rudely interrupted. I thought she was outside being murdered, but she was just outside. alone and thought she was gonna die, I guess. I don't know. She freaks out quite a bit for no reason. Anyway, so, I listen to a lot of podcasts. They're not always true crime. I like to listen to, there's one called Let's Talk About Myths, Baby, and Liv, the host, she does, Greek mythology, and, it's so cool. So cool. And I listen to a lot on medieval history, Victorian history. Those are my two favorite times in history, I guess you'd say. And so I have a bit of a range from true crime to history to like conspiracy theories and, aliens and whatnot, because I'm into all that. And sorry, Flomp. Trying to get the details in while I talk here. And, when I read books, I read a lot of biographies, and I like murder mysteries and fantasy, grimdark fantasy, all the stuff like that in that realm and everything. I like some horror. Some of it just doesn't really do much for me. I don't know, I think I got most of that out of my system when I was a kid and I was reading my mom's Stephen King books. Love Stephen King. But I don't... Oh my god, do y'all hear my dog? She's back there just making all the noises. So, yeah, I mean, I still will occasionally find a good horror book, but for the most part, I usually go for either a really good, like, fantasy series or a really good medieval biography. I love Alison Weir. She is a wonderful biographer. She does a lot of, like, the Tudor wives and Henry VIII and all that, but she also does some other really good books on mostly medieval women, which I think is really cool because it's not always easy to find a lot of information about them, but because of her and, several other biographers that I've read before, I've been able to learn a lot about medieval queens and noble women and all that. I mean, sorry, like the rest of us peasants, there's no books about us, but that's okay. Anyway, so, I did, my last case was Empress Maud, and at some point, I don't know when, I'll do an episode about her son Henry II and his wife Eleanor of Aquitaine. It's a very interesting story. And that's what I love about medieval history is, it's so interesting. I mean, there's so much going on, and it's so intertwined with, if you do the history of England, you've got to do the history kind of involved with France and Spain and all of that, because they marry into each other and, all that, so it becomes intertwined. And then to know medieval history is to also know quite a bit about Catholicism. I was not raised religious at all. I'm a godless heathen. Yay. But I love learning about, like, religious history and, things like that. I find it immensely interesting. So I've been known to dive into that as well. I'm trying to decide what color we should make his little body. So, yeah, like Alison Weir, Kirsten Downey, she wrote a book called Isabella the Warrior Queen, and it's about Queen Isabella of Castile, Isabella the First of Castile, and whoo, I'm gonna do an episode on her, and not to give too much away, but I suspect her of some things, some unsavory things, but you know, in that time, sometimes a girl had to do what a girl had to do. It wasn't easy to be a woman in medieval times, and you know, sometimes you had to make your own way, and if somebody was in your way, you just had to find a way to get them out of your way, you know. And I believe she did that a few times, and we'll get into that at some other point. I'm gonna cover a range of subjects, and I'm trying to right now. You know, I did Johnny Gill and Jack the Ripper, which is old-timey true crime, because I just really wanted to do something to dive into that area, and then, you know, did some, I guess you could call them medieval legends, talking about the Green Children of Woolpit and Dancing Plagues and everything like that. Loved it, loved it. And then Empress Matilda, so just trying to, sorry, I just realized my arm was in the way. I'm picking a pastel to color this little fella. Another great book having to do with medieval history is the Templar Revelation by Lynn Picknett and Clive Prince. Very good book, very good. Love it. I tend to reread books that I love over and over, and I can't even tell you how many times I've read Templar Revelation, Isabella Warrior Queen, She-Wolf of France. That's about a different Queen Isabella, who is Queen of England, and her father, Philip, was the one that actually had the Knights Templar, well, I guess disbanded, which a good way to disband a group is to, you know, kill them all. And that's sort of what he did, and I'll cover that at some point. I'm actually going to cover that. I'm going to cover Isabella because, you know, she was Queen of England in a very important time, that time being right around whenever the first bout of the Black Plague hit. So, of course, it was all her fault. No, not really, but that's kind of how it goes back then, you know. What woman can we blame for this? So, another great series, which is just a fictional series, is, gosh, see, I was totally unprepared to do this video. I just sort of jumped in and decided to start talking. The author's name is Theodora Goss, and it's a trilogy so far, and I'm just praying she does another book to it because it's such a great series. And it's set in Victorian England, and it's the daughters of Frankenstein, the daughter of Dr. Jekyll, the daughter of Dr. Moreau, the daughter being, you know, one of his creations and everything. So it's really good, and it's like a, you know, sort of a girls sticking together, having adventures in Victorian England and kind of all over Europe. And, you know, they bring Sherlock Holmes in a little bit to it and everything. It's just a really good series. I enjoy it. It's very whimsical and lighthearted. I think it's just a fun series to read. I enjoy it. And so, you know, I love fiction and history and, you know, a lot of nonfiction. I've also got quite a few true crime books in my library on Audible and everything, and if I really, really like a book that I listen to on Audible, I will then buy a copy of it, a physical copy. I have terrible eyesight, so I don't actually read a lot anymore. I used to a lot when I was a kid, but I've got cataracts and astigmatism and just some funky ass eyes, so I have to save my eye strength for doing art and researching my cases to tell y'all. And, you know, I get a headache if I dive in too much and for too long, so I have to pace myself. And so I listen to a lot of things while I'm constantly working or taking care of my house or whatever it is I happen to be doing in that moment, because I am like a little pinball machine, and I'm the ball being flung around all over the place. Um, anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the media I listen to as far as like podcasts and books and everything. Um, as far as like movies go, gosh, you know, I love the classics. I was raised on like Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal and Secret of Nim, Princess Bride, of course, and you know, I love Home Alone, love Macaulay Culkin. I just love him for him. Um, I was born in 83, so I'm sort of a 80s/90s child and everything, but I loved Unsolved Mysteries when I was a kid. Oh my god, I love... Everybody says Robert Stack's voice is creepy, and it is. Don't get me wrong, it is, but I loved it. I found it very soothing when I was a child, but I was kind of a creepy little kid, and, you know, just sort of grew up to be a creepy adult, I guess. Which, you know, a certain amount of creepy is okay. I try to just be, you know, a little bit weird to myself and not freak people out too much. Oh, Flomp. I've drawn quite a few of just random little monsters and everything, and so I'll probably, you know, show you some more of those later on when I feel like it, or when they apply. I'm actually writing up little profiles for them to have like a whole little monster world where there's like tons of drama and lots of gossip and tea to be spilled and all that. So yeah, I love, you know, all the old movies. Goodfellas, man, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Goodfellas. And you know, I like some newer movies too, but there's something about the older movies. Mommy Dearest, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, the Betty Davis version, Joan Crawford. Whoa, love it. So such good movies. Rebecca, that's a wonderful movie. The old one. The new one is meh. It's subpar. So, you know, yeah. My music taste varies, kind of all over the place, but mainly my heart belongs to the band Queen. I've been in love with Freddie Mercury since I was like 7 years old. No, I haven't seen the movie Bohemian Rhapsody. No, I'm not going to. There's things about it that I heard before it was made that made me not want to see it because it's not wholly accurate, and I'm not really going to waste my time with it. But I love Queen. Queen is my all-time favorite band, and Pink Floyd is my second. Love Pink Floyd as well. I like old country music. I couldn't tell you a single artist today that, you know, if they've gotten famous in the last, like, 25 years, I don't know who they are. Sorry. I like the old stuff. I'm not really into pop or anything like that. I'm extremely out of touch, so most of the time I don't know who anybody is. I'm pretty lame that way. You know, I don't really know a lot of the current celebrities at the moment, except Jesse Plemons, because that dude's everywhere. He's a really good actor, but he's in everything. So I am your extremely out of touch elder millennial that doesn't know at any point in time who is who or what's going on. I have created some social media platforms for this channel, and I have had like Twitter in the past and everything, but I'm seriously inactive on it. I have created social media for the channel though, and I am trying to build those up and be active on those. So, you know, if you ever have anything you want to, you know, get in touch about, you can either get a hold of me on my email, which is in my YouTube bio, or you can get a hold of me on Twitter or on Facebook, and it's just Leo the Lefty, or Leo the Lefty 13, if Leo the Lefty was taken, and, you know, I couldn't get that name, but I'm at Leo the Lefty 13, I believe, on Facebook and on Twitter. I haven't done an Instagram yet because I don't know how it works, so maybe on down the line when I get more followers I'll do that, but as of now I don't see the point, and I have a pretty shitty phone with a very low memory, and I literally cannot afford the space to download one more app. I do plan on getting a new phone after Christmas, but if I'm being honest with you guys, I have said that for like 4 years. My phone is about 5.5 years old. I do not like to move on easily. I will hold on to something until the bitter end. Because I'm lazy and also kind of cheap. Maybe I wouldn't be so cheap if I wasn't so broke. Who knows? I probably still would be, though. Anyway, thanks for listening to my little chat. Thanks for watching Flomp come to life. He looks like he's traumatized from everything I have said, because none of it was that interesting. Right, Flomp? Like, this dude could not give a single shit less about one thing that I said. And that's okay. That's why I created him. I drew him that way. I made him what he is today. I made him not give a shit. And I respect him for it. You know what? Let's give him a little bit of something to go in those nostrils. They look kind of weird, just being white. Burp, 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 burp. Look at that. Yeah, isn't he cute? Sort of. He, she, it. I don't know. He could be a girl. He could be nothing. Like, no gender. Like a Ken doll, you know? Anyway, well, thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes, and probably after Christmas I will release my next case. Like I said, I'm waiting for something to come in for it, but if I tell you what it is, it's gonna ruin the surprise. But thanks everybody, and if you like what you see here, like what you hear here, give me a like, give me a subscribe, comment, ask me a question, tell me I suck. You know, I'm fine with any of it. I'm pretty easygoing and not easily offended, so, you know, be brutally honest or lie to me. I don't care. Anyway, hope everybody has a good holiday, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.